This is Kevin Wayne Johnson. I am the Chief Executive of the Johnson Leadership Group based in Clarksville, Maryland, and the author of this series of books titled Leadership with a Servant's Heart. We want you to know better, do better, and lead better. In this world, our leaders are not delivering what the employees are looking for. And great leaders are those men and women who are able to align their subject matter expertise with their heart, being compassionate and being empathetic, and also valuing, caring, respecting, and honoring those that we are responsible for in terms of development and coaching and mentoring. So Leadership with a Servant's Heart will help you to get there. Get your copy today everywhere that books are sold. Kevin Wayne Johnson. See you soon.
Whether you are listening or viewing from around the world, welcome to my journey with Paula G, where we are juggling this journey called life while walking in the gifts and the talents that God has given us. I am your host, and I am so delighted to be here with you today. If this is your first time, we welcome you. We are so glad that you have joined us. And if you are a returning listener or viewer, we thank you so much for continuing the journey. I always tell you all each and every episode that time is precious. It is the one thing that you cannot get back. So for you to think it not robbery to spend this time with us is truly, truly appreciated. And we keep that in mind as we plan each and every episode. We also want to thank those who are embracing the journey through their underwriting support, and that would be our underwriters. Without our underwriters, we would not have the opportunity to provide this platform. So we are so grateful for each and every one of them, and we thank them so very much. And if you have a business, if you have a product, a service that you are looking to engage an audience or increase your audience exposure, you can reach out to us at jerryvoicelive@gmail.com or paula@paulagvoice.com. Put underwriting opportunities in the subject line, and we'll be sure to follow up with you. Also, make sure y'all do the right thing. Like, share, subscribe. Paula G Voice across all social media platforms, as well as my website, paulagvoice.com, and engage and reach out to us on those platforms as well. I also want to give Jerry Voice Live a shout out, Positive Power 21 Christian Media and Channel, and the Weekend Channel TV. Positive Power has grown so much, and this show has been on the Positive Power platform for several years, and we're continuing to grow and to do what God is instructing us and directing us and showing us what to do. And we've now expanded to the Weekend Channel, where you can see a lot of the episodes that are on Positive Power on the Weekend Channel. So make sure that you tune in, check it out, Jerry Voice Live, the Weekend Channel, Positive Power Christian Media. We thank them as well. Well, I wanted to talk with you a little bit today. You know, the theme of this show is juggling this journey called life while we're walking in our gifts and our talents that God has given us. And because of that theme, that mission, that motto, it gives us the flexibility on this show to do things a bit differently. Our format, as you notice, sometimes may not necessarily be the same format or may not necessarily be consistent from episode to episode. That's because life is not consistent. From season to season, from experience to experience, life is not always consistent. And it is in those times where we have to juggle this journey called life while walking in the gifts and the talents that God has given us. So recently, I want to share a story with you all today. Recently, and as early as yesterday evening, at the time of this particular recording, I participated in the celebration of life for a dear friend of mine who passed away after a lifetime. When I say lifetime, I mean a lifetime battle with cancer. At the age that she died, she was 55. She had been battling cancer, which was brought on by a genetic disease, from the age of 8. So from the age of 8 to the age of 55, she was coexisting with some degree or form of cancer, some sickness or residual from that, just struggling throughout her life, but juggling her journey of life while also walking in her gifts and her talents. And at the celebration of life yesterday, well, first of all, let me back up. She had left her, she was at peace with her condition and she was at peace with her circumstances, but that didn't mean that she didn't fight each and every day that she had. She fought with every fiber of her being. She fought physically. She fought mentally because she was a mighty, mighty woman of God. She was a prayerful woman. She prayed. She had prayer warriors that surrounded her, that prayed with her and prayed for her. So when I say she fought the good fight, she fought the good fight, never wavering, never giving up. And every day that she woke up, every second, every moment that she felt good, every second, every moment that she was pain free, she would do something with that second. She would do something with that moment. She was a giver. She loved to give to other people. She loved to serve people. I have never seen anyone that was so passionate about giving and helping and serving others. So when all of us were brought together in that room on last evening at the time of this recording, there were people from all walks of life, people that would not have otherwise connected as a result of this woman's spirit, as a result of this woman's light shining, as a result of the light of God shining through this mighty woman of God. It was just amazing to see so many people come together. But she had written out her own program for her celebration of life, and she left strict instructions. I don't want a funeral. She didn't want it in a church from the traditional sense, and I'll share. And she didn't want a somber atmosphere. Did not want anyone wearing black. So the theme of her celebration of life was shades of bluetiful, Bluetifil. I think I'm spelling it right. 50 shades of bluetiful. And the instructions were to wear any shade or shades of blue with sneakers. And sneakers became her signature several years ago because she would hold these annual events, the girlfriend's brunch, sneakers ball. She would hold these annual events. And she started encouraging people to wear sneakers with their formal wear, which was really a lot of fun. You have a formal wear on with sneakers. So I had a nice little formal dress on, and I found these cute, cute, cute uh, gold glitter sneakers that I wore with this outfit. So it was a lot of fun because at the end of the formalities of the program, the formal part of the program, there was always dancing. She loved to dance. She loved, loved, loved to dance. So at the end, there was dancing. So for her program, of course, we had introductions, we had opening prayer. I was honored to bring the devotion on transformation to the audience. We had individuals speaking from her childhood, her young adult years, and currently, and throughout everyone's experience, because when you gather to say goodbye to someone, there are always stories of their childhood and the things they did, and sometimes there's funny stories. So we heard all of that last evening, but the common thread throughout, even as a young child, was her spirit of giving and helping and sharing and making people feel so incredibly comfortable and making them feel like they were the most important person in the world, even though, they knew and we knew she had a plethora of friends when you were in her presence, she made you feel as though you were the most important person in the world. So it was a beautiful experience yesterday of the homegoing. Traditionally, we would call it a homegoing or a funeral, but she called it her celebration of life. And in place of the obituary, because she didn't want any of the terminology that comes along with a funeral, it's not a service, it's a celebration of life. It's not a funeral, it's a celebration of life. It's not an obituary, it's reflections, a celebration of life. And I thought that was just a wonderful, wonderful concept. And it got me to thinking I might have to go back and revisit my own final wishes because the atmosphere was that of joy. Yes, there were moments of tears, and we went through, a kind of a roller coaster of emotions. One of the poets that was there, she said, it's like we went through the whole cycle all in that same night. We laughed, we cried, we couldn't believe that it happened. We thought about the different things that we could have done. We thought about the impact that she had in our lives. And that speaks to, sometimes we hear about that dash between your dates, between the date that you were born and the date that you have passed away, that dash. What have you done during that time of that dash in between? We're going to take a break. And when we come back, I'm going to share with you as to what she did with that dash in between and what she has charged all of us to do, which is why I'm sharing with you because she's such a people person. And even though you all don't even know who she is, her spirit lives on, the spirit of giving and sharing and encouraging people to live life to the fullest. So when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about her motto of live, believe, and dream and what that means. This is My Journey with Paula G. I'm your host, Paula G. Stay tuned, and we'll be back in a few moments.
Even That's what I'm talking about, Lord. Thank you.
And welcome back to My Journey with Paula G. I am your host, Paula G. We're so glad that you have continued to join us. And if you are just joining us, we appreciate you tuning in. Before the break, I was sharing with you a bit of the journey of a dear friend of mine who recently passed away. We celebrated her life on last evening at the time of this recording. And she had been battling cancer for a lifetime. When I say a lifetime, literally a lifetime, from the age of 8 until she passed away almost 2 weeks ago at the age of 55. And just the energy that she had whenever she had energy, and how she used that energy, and how she poured so much into so many people. And this really speaks to, as well, being men of God, being women of God, how we must, and after going through this experience, it really brought to the surface more of how we interact with people, how we make people feel, in turn, can determine how they feel about themselves, how they feel about others, and how they interact with others. When you can have one person who shines such a bright light, has a beautiful, giving, passionate, compassionate, caring spirit, and can leave an impact on so many different people and their lives. When you can bring people together under one roof, people who otherwise probably would never even consider communicating with each other, but do so out of their united love for that one person. There were several of us that came together to execute basically what she had already written out. When I say she had already written out her own program as to what she wanted it to look like, down to the detail, our task was to execute that. Our task was to execute that. She loved butterflies, and at the end of the celebration, we had a bit of a butterfly release. But she lived by her own motto, her own brand. She was a poet, motivational speaker, a consultant, and she lived by her own brand, which was to live, believe, and dream. And I want to share this with you today because this is my way of honoring her and making sure that her spirit lives on. Live. I watched her because I was one of the many people who came to her aid when she needed someone to take her to the doctor. She needed someone to take her to chemo, radiation. She needed someone to stay with her overnight, to fix her meals, to do her laundry, to help her with her personal needs when she wasn't able to do it herself, to run errands for her. Every moment that she felt some degree of energy or good, she utilized that moment. She would get up and cook for her husband, cook a meal for her husband, cook a meal for friends. She would make something for someone. She would make phone calls and call them to check on them to see how they were. She would ask someone to come pick her up, to maybe go to a department store or a grocery store to purchase something for her to make or give to someone else, or make or give to her husband. So every moment that she was physically able, she lived. And I remember her saying, I want to live. Not thy will, not my will, but thy will be done, Lord. My will, my desire is to live. Yet not my will, just like Jesus said, yet not my will. Lord, Jesus said, Lord, take this cup from me. Yet not my will be done, but thy will be done. And Evelyn was the same way. Lord, I want to live, yet according to your will. And he granted her that prayer to live for the number of years that she lived. And he gave her the opportunity and opened doors of opportunity for her to do so many of the things that she had desired to do, to live out so many of these things. We hear about the bucket list. There's all these things on our bucket list we want to check off. Evelyn went through, and that was her name, was Evelyn, went through her bucket list and did most, if not all, of the things that she desired to do. I remember one time she had called and she wanted to go up to a farm that's here in the Atlanta area. And you can go to the farm and you can pick berries or pick apples, you can pick flowers. There's a maze, you go through the cornfield maze. There's this little piglet race, which is hilarious. If you are ever in a sad mood, a bad mood, or what have you, you need to go to one of these farms and watch the little piglet races. The funniest thing. But we laughed, we had a good time, we ate, she was still able to kind of move around physically. We went down one of those long slides on the burlap sack like two little girls, just having a glorious, glorious time. There are other days when she felt well. We went shopping because she loved to get things and decorate her home. So she lived her life, and then believed. She believed in herself. She believed her first love was poetry, and she believed that those things that she desired to do, that she could do and achieve, and she did, and she would share with each and every person that came along. And I'm sharing with you, if you believe in yourself, you believe in what it is that you desire to do, you can do anything you put your mind to. I always close the show with, the greatest conversation you will ever have is the one that takes place in between your ears. What are you speaking to yourself? Is God a part of that conversation? And are you listening to his still small voice? Because if he said it was so, it will be so. And you have to trust and believe that it will occur, because if you don't believe in yourself, you cannot expect anyone else to believe in you. You must believe, and then dream. Just dream. What are some of the things that you've dreamed about? Forget about the parameters, forget about the, oh, well, that can't happen, because dream. What is it that you dream about? Write down those dreams. Write what it would take to fulfill those dreams, and begin the process of living and believing and walking out those dreams, because you can do it. You can do it. Prayer is the best tool that we have. Prayer is a mighty tool. And if you pray asking God, Lord, these are the things that I desire. These are the things that I've dreamed about. These are the things that I wish for my life according to your will. If he begins to open those doors of opportunity for you to walk through, glory to God. Live in those fulfilled dreams. You've believed those dreams, and you're now walking out those dreams. So I just wanted to share that with you today. And I know that's kind of brief. We've almost come to the end of our journey, and perhaps we'll talk a little bit about it on another episode. But I'm encouraging you all today, those of you who may be sick in your bed, or those of you who may have been sick and you're feeling okay today, but then your head is like, oh, I just don't feel like doing anything today. Live. As long as you wake up, as long as you are living and breathing, you have an opportunity to fulfill those things that God has placed in you. So even if you can't get out, or you can't get around, you can still maybe write in a notebook, or write in the journal, or just that conversation in between your ears. Just begin to believe in yourself. Live every moment that you have in whatever way living looks like for you. Just live and dream. Believe, my brothers and sisters. God is our source. He is our light. And he places things inside of us that he desires us to utilize to bless and serve others. And I hope that has blessed you. We have come to the end of our journey. We thank you so much for joining us and for tuning in. We thank our underwriters. Remember, you can stay connected with me, Paula G Voice, across all social media platforms. Shout out to Positive Power 21 Christian Media and the Weekend Channel. Make sure you check us out on the Weekend Channel, not only this show, but all of the shows that are on Positive Power 21. We appreciate you for tuning in. And again, I say, remember, the greatest conversation you will ever have is the one that takes place in between your ears. What are you speaking to yourself? Is God a part of that conversation? And are you listening to his still small voice? Until next time, embrace the journey.